Caldecott building is nostalgic, it's old school.
You can't judge a book by its cover by looking at Caldecott. It doesn't look very interesting, but the work inside there is incredible.
In its heyday, this was a hive of activity and excitement. For more than 80 years, Singapore's Caldecott Broadcast Centre gave Singaporeans a window to the world, beaming news and entertainment daily to radio and television sets across the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Steelers.
Caldecott to me was life. It was my magic kingdom.
It's a place where a lot of dreams are being made. It's where my dreams come true.
Action.
Work had never stopped at Caldecott, if one could call it work at all. For most, it was a toil of passion.
建筑里面呢，有好几千人，每天在那边忙忙碌碌的出出进进，像蚂蚁一样。可是呢，我觉得我们在做一些非常有意义的事情。
Caldecott was rich in history, and we felt that we were part of that history.
But Caldecott's history would eventually come to a close. On the 60th anniversary of television in the country, this is a tribute to Singapore Broadcasting's former home.
Every time we look back, I have believed in the late
For me, Caldecott is always about glamour, entertainment and stars. So the first day, a lot of mixed feelings because never in my wildest dream did I think I'm going to work there.
It was, for me, the entryway to, and the culmination of a dream. So my first day was magical. It was like, yeah, you know, I made it, and this is exactly what I want to do.
Many an illustrious career was created at Caldecott. The broadcasting industry felt new and exciting to anyone who chose it. Little did they know that at Caldecott, their work would intersect with a nation's history. March the 1st, 1937. A solitary building at Caldecott Hill opens. It is to be the operations centre of the British Malaya Broadcasting Corporation. To cater to Malaya's diverse population, programs are produced in the 4 main languages.
English was not the base official language or the business language of that period. So not many people would know English. So they couldn't just rely on English broadcast. So if they wanted to reach a local population, it was easier to speak in their language.
In 1940, the colonial government acquires the British Malaya Broadcasting Corporation and renames it the Malayan Broadcasting Corporation, otherwise known as MBC. MBC shall serve audiences across Malaya and the rest of the region. In the meantime, World War II looms over Southeast Asia. February 1942. The Japanese blitzkrieg overruns Singapore and occupies the city. The radio station at Caldecott is one of the first installations to be seized and shall serve the occupiers for 3.5 years. until the 12th of September 1945.
This is the end of the Japanese reign of terror in Malaya.
The war leaves Singapore in shambles. Work starts to rebuild the city. And in 1946, the British government forms the Pan-Malayan Department of Broadcasting, known on air as Radio Malaya. Mun Chaw Seng joins in 1958.
This is a letter from the Department of Broadcasting informing me going for an interview for the post of a broadcasting assistant in Radio Malaya. Broadcasting assistant is to man the studio. In addition to all this, you have to do the recording in the studios. At that time, Radio Orchestra is one of the premier orchestra. After the war, entertainment is not on the top of the list. It's only the government that can afford to have an orchestra. So the orchestra will have to churn program for the Mandarin, English, and also the Malay section.
In 1959, Radio Malaya becomes Radio Singapura and is formally established as the city's public broadcaster. Radio isn't all about entertainment. The government of the day saw in it a much bigger role.
The Lee Kuan Yew government felt that this is a very powerful tool to not only just inform, but more than information, the way the Lee Kuan Yew government thought of broadcasting was persuasion.
I hope to explain why merger, which is vital to our survival, is not by itself alone a complete answer for all our social and economic problems. Merger will give us a large enough national and economic base to build our better society.
For about 12 weeks, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew spoke over the radio in a series called Battle for Merger. And they were stirring speeches, even as a young boy, I was so moved, there were goosebumps the way Mr. Lee Kuan Yew addressed those issues. If we had had television in 61, it would have gone full blast.
Television would come soon enough. 2 years later, on the 15th of February 1963, Television Singapura was launched.
This is the place where the inaugural TV ceremony was held. It was a 2-hour broadcast and mainly on local production. It's all in black and white. When you look at the footage, you see a lot of scratches running across the screen. These are some of the characteristics of old film. When TV started, it attracted a lot of attention to the local people because nobody has seen a picture come out from a box and speaks with like a live situation. So at that time, after the war, things are not so, people are not so well off. So not everyone can buy a TV set. So usually the so-called rich able the set, and then the neighborhood was used to crowd around when TV started in the evening.
TV gains popularity just as tensions simmer off the screen. In 1965, trouble brews on Singapore's merger with Malaya sealed just 2 years earlier. On the morning of August the 9th, Singapore's separation from Malaysia is announced over the radio. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew meets the press hours later at Caldecott.
Every time we look back on this moment when we signed this agreement which severed Singapore from Malaysia, it will be a moment of anguish.
A 27-year-old producer, S Chandra Mohan, is assigned to oversee the production. These are his archived oral interviews on the event.
Instinctively, I just told the cameraman, zoom in. And I said, hold the shot at the face. And tears started streaming down his eyes. He could not continue. And he said,
would you mind if we stop for a while?
Then I faded picture to black. There was about a 20-25 minute break. Continued the recording till the end of the conference.
Prime Minister, now that Singapore is a sovereign state.
It wasn't Lee's intention to have footage of his tears shed viewed by a television audience.
You see the whole of my adult life.
So the first telecast went out. Any questions that he was insincere or crocodile tears is absolutely wrong. I was there. I was the producer. I was the one who asked the camera to zoom in. I held the shot. And I saw the tears.
After independence, television would continue to capture the zeitgeist in a fast-changing Singapore. And Caldecott became Radio and Television Singapore, otherwise known as RTS.
Just one of many, many things the government did through its radio and television channel to instill confidence in the people that we may be in dire straits, but we got right policies. And we are doing everything we could to make sure that we will survive. And of course, we not only survived, we flourished.
Singer Rahimah Rahim was a child artiste in the first Malay sitcom aired in 1966.
Mountain Bear was the most popular program. It tells the story of a HDB flat in Queenstown. And this gentleman, Pa Awang, he's from the kampung. So he moved to HDB flat. And that's how we started to learn how to live as a neighborhood in the flat.
Television would become an important part of many a Singaporean's evening. And in 1971, in a bid to communicate with a much wider audience, then Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew makes a last-minute decision to televise the annual National Day rally live.
Fellow citizens, what I'm saying to you and your responses, because what I'm saying to you is as important as your response to what I'm saying to you. And it's going on live. You won't be here, I won't be here, we won't.
Caldecott's outdoor broadcast team had barely an hour to make the necessary arrangements.
This is the OB truck we are in now. OB stands for Outdoor Broadcast. And we use this one for all our outdoor events. This shot is nice.
Low Tien Ling joined Radio and Television Singapore in 1976. He's worked on almost every live broadcast of the National Day Rally ever since. The outdoor broadcast, or OB van, is the nerve center of every live broadcast.
A lot of people use him for all the places. Because all our production, be it live, be it recording, we cannot fail because there's no such thing as repeat, and because it's like soccer, you cannot reverse the goal and then ask them to replay for that kick. It cannot make mistake.
Singapore, the 1970s. An industrialization program embarked on just a decade earlier gains momentum. The work of broadcasting is also beginning to change, with exciting developments happening at Caldecott. Dekarajan Samugam had just completed his national service when he landed his first job as trainee cameraman at Radio and Television Singapore.
During the earlier days, I was working on a 16mm film camera, and every time we wind the camera, it is about 20 seconds only. So once you press full 20 seconds, after that you have to quickly wind and then continue with the shot. So that was all the most challenging part. And then the other thing is that once we finish shooting, we got to send the film to the lab and they process the film and then bring the film back to the editors. The editors will cut and they will go out on that same night for the news.
Rajan's trusty film camera would be replaced with one new camera after another over his more than 50 years in broadcasting. But it was in 1974 when a game changer of an upgrade was in the cards.
现在还有新的来了，有这种新的，很亮的。
TV, which had been black and white, would soon become color. In 1974, Caldecott ran color test transmissions, including its first live color broadcast for the keenly anticipated World Cup finals. Crowds gathered to savor the moment in public spaces. 2 years later, in 1976, a talent competition, produced and recorded at Caldecott, would capture the hearts of audiences young and old.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Steelets. We now meet a very suave...
I cannot believe this. It was me?
And tonight he's going to give us...
Oh, this is amazing.
In 1978, 21-year-old Susan Ng became the host of Talentime.
9 vocal soloists and 6 groups.
It was our American Idol at the time. And it was popular because it was live and you're rooting for one particular person and hoping that person will make it to the next round, to the next, and then win something at the end of it. So it's giving hope to regular people who might not have the opportunity to be talent scouted on the streets of Singapore.
By the end of the decade, moves to liberalize the media industry gave TV and radio in Singapore a push in reach and engagement. The Broadcasting Act was passed in 1979. And Radio and Television Singapore became the Singapore Broadcasting Corporation, or SBC, with new sources of funds to boost facilities and skills.
They could also employ international production experience, production producers to come in.
Since you're doing this direction, one more camera, he's turn around and say what happened. Is it okay since you're on this direction?
It was in 1983 when Chan Bang-yuan moved to Singapore. As part of a group of broadcast professionals from Hong Kong enlisted to start a Chinese drama division at SBC.
You walk in here, hesitate.
So when we arrive here, they do introduce us to the actor and actress. That one is not a big pool of talent. It's about 5 actors, 5 actor around like that. So we start our long journey of growing this talent pool.
A back lot is built at Caldecott. This set for village scenes in The Awakening, an ambitious period drama depicting the life of Singapore's first generation of Chinese immigrants.
We found a place behind the carbon tree house and the prop store around there. Behind there, we built these street scenes. And we rely on the street scene for years. For period drama, it could be China, could be like old Singapore, And we need that because we are out of location. Singapore changing too fast.
是他撞了人就跑的，是他的错。
照他！啊！告诉你们，你们不要逼我。
The Awakening was a hit, but there was a need for greater authenticity. Tu Lianliang, then a Chinese current affairs producer, was roped in to help foreign-born drama directors get the facts right in the second season of The Awakening.
比方说，我们不能说拿着一个篮子去采榴莲吧，榴莲不是你爬上树去采的，榴莲是要等它掉下来的，啊。然后我们的那个新闻组的编辑会去戏剧组，就是要学会他们那一套，怎么样去管理一个团队，怎么样去指导演员演戏，这些我们以前都是比较弱的，所以就是说，一方面是帮助他们把雾锁南洋的续集搞好，一方面呢是向他们偷师。
Dramas like The Awakening led to more productions that entertained and enlightened Singaporeans about their nation's roots.
How we became a nation, how different people came together during the war, and how that became the founding of Singapore. All the time in the background, Malay-Indian programming were bubbling away.
Where? It's me lah. It's me, long time ago, before you were born.
It was in 1982 when Mat Yo-Yo burst into TV screens, a hit among young audiences of all ethnicities. The series ran for 12 years and is very close to Muhammad Reza's heart. After all, he was one of the stars of Mat Yo-Yo.
Ya, biasanya selepas lakonan pendek, kita akan menjemput
It is an info educational program, so it gives the viewer a sense of education from preschool to all the way to primary 6 level. And then we have games in the show, to encourage interactivity between the audience, the family members. I think also why Mat Yo-Yo resonated so well to the rest of the community is because during that era, right, we have to wait for your slot to watch your programs, right? And also, the catchy theme song, 西马悠悠，西马悠悠。
欢迎各位嘉宾光临世界贸易中心。
Television blossomed in the 1980s, and Singaporeans grew hungry for more local content. In a race to produce more homegrown Chinese dramas, Caldecott embarked on an urgent search for stars.
5号郑慧玉。
Wow, I'm only 20 years old then. Remember that gown was, the white gown, evening gown was from one of my best friends. Yeah, he designed it. Yeah. Wow, the makeup on the hair.
Zoe Tay, a farmer's daughter who had become a successful fashion model, was the winner of the first Star Search. Tay would come to be dubbed Queen of Caldecott Hill by the local media. Long would be her reign.
No, I never wanted to be an actress. Never actually come into my mind at all. Yeah, or something that I think is out of the blue, or I'm just brave doing it. I don't remember how many shows I'm in. I remember I did mention 365 days a year. I work at least 363 days. That's quite crazy. You can see me sleeping anywhere. I sitting down, I can fall asleep also. This is how my life changed after Star Search.
Singapore in the 1990s is a nation on the move and transitioning from a manufacturing economy to a high skills and knowledge-based one.
I think that in the 90s, Singapore television began to really think about what was its role how can it play a bigger role within Singapore, but also within the region.
I, Goh Chok Tong, having been appointed to the office of Prime Minister.
Many Singaporeans would remember the 1990s as a time when the country ran its next lap. Singapore had evolved into a bustling cosmopolis, just as the viewing palette of Singaporeans evolved too. The newly formed English drama unit strikes gold with a family drama called Growing Up, and sitcoms like Under One Roof and Phua Chu Kang.
Hey, good luck to me, goodbye to you.
We have to tell our own stories. And to tell our own stories, we need to come out with stories and characters and setting that is authentic to our own experiences. Growing up also came from the same thing. It's a lot part of my own experience because I grew up in the 60s, right? So that is that authenticity. There are those realities and those stories and those backdrop that I'm familiar with. So let's tell the stories from a family as a microcosm of the nation, right? So that's where it started. And we said, okay, let's be authentic about it, right?
Suddenly pointed at the tree. Look, he said.
But producers didn't always get it right.
Crush under your foot like you would a cockroach.
Singapore's first foray into English soap dramas was Masters of the Sea.
Hold on, Andrew. People can't relate to that. People can't relate to people coming in on a hot Singapore, typical Singapore day, wearing a sweater, and speaking with a clipped accent.
I've got a dinner engagement tonight with the CEO from United Oil. He's an important client, and I need you there to take notes.
So I think that there was that disconnect with the audience. They don't find this is our movie.
Masters of the Sea was dropped, and local television was authentic and original evermore. In the meantime, another restructuring at Caldecott, from SBC to TCS, the Television Corporation of Singapore, and an orchestrated boost in local television output by 60%, making TCS one of the most prolific TV stations in the world. Caldecott was also ready to expand its footprint. When diplomatic ties were established between Singapore and China in 1990, new doors were opened for co-productions and collaborations. Back at Caldecott, new studios are built, equipment sought, and manpower trained for an ambitious new TV channel. In March of 1999, Channel News Asia is launched. It is to be Singapore's dedicated news and current affairs channel, catering to a local and international audience.
On this Monday, the 1st of March, we've reached a milestone in Asian broadcasting.
And this also just in, Australian Foreign Minister Alexander Downer.
Oh my word. I think I have better control of my voice now. It's a little bit more stable.
Broadcast journalist Arnold Gay was selected as one of the anchors on the channel's first day of broadcast.
I couldn't have been luckier, to join at this time. I didn't really know about all these plans to launch a new channel that would eventually be regional as well. And I just thought I was the luckiest guy on earth to be there at the right time and right place.
Sandy Lam was one of the studio directors on launch day.
I roughly can remember where a lot of testing ongoing, testing of graphics, testing of the virtual background itself. During then, it's not in terms of the technology, it's not as advanced as what we have now. Yeah, that was a bit challenging. Even clothes itself, because it's the first time you're using a green screen, right? Where no one is supposed to wear anything that is green color or any green element in it. Yeah, so nothing is firm out until the very last minute.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now known as CNA, the channel presented news from an Asian perspective, insights from the inside, while extending MediaCorp's broadcasting reach across Asia and the world.
It was principally to bring forth a perspective which would be slightly different from what the international news media channels were offering. And and I don't think there was anything that was quite like it at the time, so it was exciting.
Singapore in the 2000s. After having recovered from the Asian financial crisis at the end of the 1990s, the new millennium ushers in more uncertainty. Also, another name change at Caldecott. All media platforms, including television, radio, print, and publishing, will be restructured into one brand, MediaCorp. The outbreak of SARS in 2003 underscores the importance of the broadcast media in keeping the public informed and up to date. The SARS story dominates reporting, with Caldecott's news and current affairs teams covering the ongoing story extensively.
Screening centers were set up, more isolation wards created, and wearing protective gear became the norm and religiously enforced.
In the meantime, entertainment channels offer other content to educate the public and rally support nationwide against a health crisis.
Singapore will be off the World Health Organization's list of SARS-affected
Singapore is declared SARS-free 3 months after the first case emerged. And in the following year, in 2004, Zoe Tay achieves a career high. She becomes an all-time favorite artist at the Star Awards. Tay's award would not have been possible without her legion of fans.
The fans who waited outside the radio gate, they are really die-hard fans. Some of them can wait for us before we came to work, like maybe before 7:30 or 7, to say hello and wave at us, to ask for autograph. Some of them can just wait at past midnight.
Lin Meijiao was another artist who had plenty of fans. Her daughter, Chantel Ng, vividly remembers those scenes at the radio gate. Chantel is now a star in her own right.
At that point, I didn't really understand or comprehend why people would stop her at the radio gate. I think it took me a while to know that, oh, she's an actress and she's popular and there would be people who are keen to take photos with her. I started to feel like, hey, it's very nice that you guys are supporting my mother. And then subsequently now that they're supporting me, I think, yeah, that's pretty cute.
Radio Gate's fan clubs were a diverse bunch. When reality TV came to Singapore in the form of a singing competition called Singapore Idol, there were fans of contestants too.
So it's not that they didn't actually have song contests before. Of course, we did have lots of song contests before, but not in a way that it is global format. It's a global franchise, which allowed us to think of ourselves as part of this kind of global media community.
The daily routine of a Singapore Idol contestant, I think you come in before the sunrise and you go out when the sun sets. So you don't see the sunlight at all. That's how long, the number of hours that they dedicate, to the production.
The hard work from both participants and Caldecott's production crew paid off. The Singapore Idol finale was one of the highest rated English programs in Singapore's TV history.
this time you are looking at a whole group of Taufik Batista fans, whole group of Sylvester Sim fans coming together. So there's really a kind of energy in the air. I mean, I can't describe it really. Yeah.
People were excited that, first they could see their own local singers, their own, people that could have been their neighbors, someone that they went to school with.
Noi runs a stall at a hawker centre in Bedok, a neighbourhood in the eastern part of Singapore. But before that, she was at Caldecott's canteen for more than 20 years.
Wah, I cakap dengan you all, kita punya line tu, kita punya stall macam pasar malam. Ada 2 queue. Bila nasi ayam semua, saya jual daripada pukul 10 sampai pukul 2, nasi ayam habis. At least 30 ekor boleh habis in macam sekejap. Jadi kadang-kadang diorang bila beli makan, diorang tak just buy tau. Diorang will sit there and talk to us.
We have a very centralized canteen, and I would call that the heart of Caldecott.
The canteen is one of those places where you meet everyone.
You get to see celebrities, you get to see the actors, you get to see the creatives, you get to see the CEO having a coffee there, yeah.
The award goes to Meaningful Private.
In the 2010s, Caldecott was more productive than ever. MediaCorp won Terrestrial Broadcaster of the Year at the Asian Television Awards for 7 years over the decade. Around this time, a new Tamil drama would be conceived.
We couldn't rationalize the concept. I mean, 5 Tamil-speaking police officers working together and solving crimes, there was a lapse in logic. Then we tweaked the concept. Okay, this team has been assigned by the force to look into the crimes in the Indian community. So that makes sense. That's how Vete started.
Vete had a young cast, catchy music, plenty of action and authentic local dialogues. It was a hit among Singaporean viewers from the very first episode.
Just come on stage. Give them a big round of applause, everybody. Come on.
It went on to become the highest rated Tamil drama of its time and won numerous accolades, including Most Popular Drama Series, Best Actor, Most Popular Male and Female Personality at the local Pradana Virat Awards show.
In Vete, 80% of them are new faces. They all were overnight stars. So when they became stars, the youngsters were like, it had a chain effect. More youngsters wanted to act in our dramas, so the pool just grew. So I think that in that sense, Vete expanded the talent pool for the industry.
Vete also made use of locations within Caldecott to film their scenes.
We worked with a tight budget, so we used the props area, the badminton court behind the makeup unit, and then we used like the alleys around and the basement car park. Whichever area that fits into our drama, we will not miss it.
MediaCorp's content continued to make waves locally and globally too. Through licensing agreements, television programs produced at Caldecott made their debuts on screens across the region. At the same time, plans were revealed for the big shift. MediaCorp would move out of Caldecott from 2015.
I feel very sad when I came to a new building. I say, okay, just nice for me. I'm going to retire soon. I think things have to change and then we have to accept the changes and to move on.
In that same year, a single event would grip an entire population. In March 2015, Singapore mourned the loss of its founding father. Lee Kuan Yew's state funeral service was one of the largest remote outdoor broadcasts ever produced by MediaCorp.
That time, MediaCorp actually activated the whole of their production team
During that time, it started to rain just before the coverage. After the procession passes a certain location, the power actually tripped, and some area the power supply didn't come in at all. And the people operating the area have to go house to house upstairs to knock at doors to see whether they can tap the one power supply from them. So we end up using resident power supply to back up our system.
Thankfully, the broadcast went on air without a hitch. More than 100,000 people lined the streets in a procession that crossed the city. This, as millions more tuned in to pay their last respects. Farewell to Lee Kuan Yew was one of the most watched live TV events in Singapore's broadcast history. ...2015 would also be the last year of operations for the Caldecott Broadcast Centre. But before it was curtains for Caldecott, there was time for one last hurrah. The 2015 Star Awards was a fitting tribute to Caldecott's stars on and off the screen. The shiniest star of all was its location. The gala was filmed on the grounds of Caldecott.
Feel like crying. I feel very proud watching it because, you know, all the effort that we actually put in, and even trying out so many different angles of shots.
Wow, so nice. Wow, the production really put in a lot of effort for this. Wow, so impressive. Then you look at the building on the side.
2015 Star Awards is a very, very big moment for every one of us. I wanted it to be a closure for Caldecott. I thought I want to transform that path into a walk of fame. Everyone walked that route. We walk into Radio Gate, we walk past the prop store, the makeup area, we walk past that car park, we go to the respective studio. What I want is to give or revive that former glory that it should have and leave a good memory for all of us, be it the audience or to the production staff and the artists themselves. So it's like kind of like a good memory lane.
Caldecott Broadcast Centre had played an integral part in Singapore's history, from its early days as a radio station to its role in shaping the country's national identity. It was also a place filled with fond memories that will never be forgotten.
I think Caldecott was like a village to me. It takes a village to raise a child. And I think I really felt that kind of love and kindness from everyone in Caldecott, from the security guards that I meet at the radio gate, to the people in the makeup unit, to the crew who is in the studio. Like, all of them raised me, and I'm eternally grateful for that kind of love that they showered upon me.
I have been all my life up there. Even though he's no longer around, there may be time, I will drive my car and just, for old time's sake, I just go around, just to remember this is the area, that keep me alive.
Caldecott Hill was something that for me was, I came in as a bachelor. I got married. I became a father. Then I became a grandfather. And what do I want? It gave me my life, a complete life.